What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, we got a special one for you here. Not only am I looking at Morgan copy for Darkstalkers, but we're also going to be taking a look at a brand new skill that our boy Sun Jinwoo now has under his arsenal. And we're talking about the brand new skills that go under the Dagger Rush. So we're going to look at every single one of them. You guys can see here, I'm going to move my screen over, that we got them all under Legendary. So we got the Wind version, which is called Breach. We got Dispersion, which is the the dark one. We've got ourselves Explosion, which is the fire version, and then we got the water version called Cold Ice. So we're going to go through each and every one of these. The beauty here is some of them have Heavy Break, some of them have Almighty Break, some of them have Frostbite. So every single one of these do different things. So we're going to look into all of these and see how they function and which ones you want to look at and consider as the best one for certain categories. So we're going to start off with the Wind version here, because obviously Wind right now and Dark are the two main elements for using it against Baron in WOBL. Most of you guys are going to focus on clearing that out. Also, I have put out the hard mode Baron version for my pay to win account. You guys can go take a look at it. So you guys can see here again, Heavy Break Wind does knock down when the skill hits the target. Critical hit damage received increased by 2% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 7 times. So this is actually not bad, and the damage increases by 50% when attacking enemies with their elemental weakness. So this is going to be a big one for Baron fight for sure, and same with this dark one here as well too. When this attack hits an enemy that doesn't have a break gauge, it increases the damage of dispersion by 240% for 7 whole seconds, and that is going to be a big one as well. And you guys can see the rest of them all just have heavy numbers. This one applies a shield. When this hits, it deals additional 100% attack, and then this one over here with Frostbite will do more damage if you are close by to the targets within 5% range. You guys can see here Frostbite deals damage equal to 300% of the user's attack every 3 seconds. So a good little dot on the opponent. So let's go through each one of these and see how they function and what makes them all unique and where you want to use these. Okay, so we're going to start off here. We're going to jump in. Now I've got a lot of tickets available right now for hard mode. I don't know right now if I have, let me just double check. I think the first fight, you know what, we're not going to do the first fight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Easel. Let me finish Methis real quick on this account, and I'm going to jump to Easel, and we'll try every single one of these out on her and see how they all function. All right, so give me a few minutes. I'll be right back. All right, guys, so we've actually beaten Methis. Now we're on Easel. Now we're going to do a little bit of testing. Here's the thing with this testing I want you guys to be aware of. This new skill has a couple different things that are good about it and some things that are kind of weak about it. Okay, so first off, we're going to test out the Wind one right over here. Now the Wind damage-wise, it's not that great. It's only 2,185. If you compare it to any of the other heavy breaks, it's not going to do quite as much. For example, like let's look at this Death Dance here, which does 2,703, but also does more damage to bosses and elite monsters. This one here, the good thing about it is it does give you more critical hit damage, and it gives you 7 stacks worth of 2% for the next 10 seconds, right? So you're going to get yourself 14% more critical hit damage off of this one. So I'll just show you guys how the skill works and how it functions. Now, ideally, you want to use this one if you are trying to use a heavy crit damage weapon, right? Westwind, for example, Demon King daggers, etc., right? So you guys can see right now, for example, I'll jump in. Here's the damage difference, right? 6,6, you see 9,967. Look at those 7 stacks right there, right? Now, if I do this, any crit that'll hit right there, any crit damage that'll hit, will do 14% more damage. You can see here it's about to disappear. It's on Easel right now. So it's a heavy break, so it's not going to do full 3 bars. And then you guys can see the difference. Almighty Break does 3 bars, right? So keep that in mind. Now, obviously, this is it's a wind weapon or wind skill, so it's going to do a little bit more because it's elementally advantaged. The light one obviously won't do quite as much, but this skill realistically is going to mostly be used just to min-max your DPS. It's not the best of the break skills. It's one of the worst ones, I'd say, out of all of them. But if you are trying to min-max your damage and you are trying to push out just a little bit more crit damage, this is a nice one to use for sure. And a lot of people in POD and stuff will probably want to use this one because Dagger Rush with Breach is going to just give you that much more crit damage on top of what you already have. So anytime you're in the white or in the blue, this one is probably going to be the go-to for damage purposes overall for every skill that you have, because for the next 10 seconds, the opponent will take 14% more crit damage, which is huge if you really add it all up with every single character hitting it in a raid. So I think this one's going to be really good for POD and really good for guild bosses. So I can see a lot of people using this. All right, now Dispersion here, this is a little bit more damage dealing. It does have Almighty Break. The one thing to note here though, whenever the opponent doesn't have a break gauge, this will do more. Okay, so I'm going to try to break Easel's break gauge real quick, and we're going to see how much more damage it does once that's gone. Oopsie, I should have switched that up. Sorry guys, let me go back in. So we're going to test this one out without when her break gauge is dead, and we're going to see how much more damage it does. So let me go back out here. I apologize, I took it off accidentally. But this is a skill where I think you probably want to use it on opponents like the guild boss, just to do more damage in case you don't have the legendary version. But quite honestly, I don't think this is ever going to be used in guild boss because you have magnify slashes. Like, you never want to replace magnify slashes, right? So ideally this is going to be something you'll use on an opponent who has a break bar, and then when their break bar is gone, it'll just do more damage. But we'll see what happens. Maybe in POD this is something that'll work really well, but again, I want to break her bars and see what it looks like in comparison. Okay, so we'll do both skills here. We're gonna land. So first we'll do the wind break. Okay, we'll do this to paralyze her, and then we'll do this new one. So you guys saw the break look pretty good. Damage-wise, again, not that good. Right? Damage-wise is not great, but we're gonna hope that once we do that whole 16% more damage, that we're gonna see the difference. Sorry, when the break bar is gone, we'll see that whole 260% more damage, and it'll make a big difference in comparison to what we just saw. Because right now, I mean, from a damage perspective, it's not that great. Okay, here we go. We'll do this first. There's the break. Okay, now here. Oh yeah, that's way different. Okay, that was much better. So that did a lot more damage. You guys can see the damage right there, right? The number 105,666. That's 1,056,600. No, wait, that's 10 million. 10,566,662 just from that skill alone. That was crazy. So that's a lot of damage when that skill is popping off when the opponent doesn't have a break bar. So let's try that again. Let's let it get back up. Shadow step. Again, you can see here, damage-wise, 1 bar, right, versus... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, the damage on this thing. Whew. Oh, this and magnifying slashes is going to be deadly together. Oh my god. That is a lot of damage. Okay, so there's that skill. I'd say right there alone, that skill is going to be bonkers for killing people. Yeah, so that and magnifying slashes, put in Plum Sword and the Moon's Shadow Daggers, and you're looking golden, guys. Not only are you have now an almighty dark break, but you also have an insane damage dealing move at the same time. So dispersion, I think, is probably going to be right now so far my favorite. Okay, this one does so much damage. Now this one is a hold down move. It's 4,078. Applies a shield when the user uses the skill. When the skill hits, it deals an additional 100% damage. So this is going to be probably the strongest hitting skill he has. And I think we saw how this one already looks. So let's give it a go and see how this one does, alright? And this one also has Almighty Break, so a nice fire skill now for us to add to the repertoire. Now we already have one, obviously, but... not as good as Dispersion, obviously. But again, this is an opponent who has weakness to darkness, obviously, and wind, so we're not going to expect this to do quite as much, but obviously you saw the damage there was nice. But I think the biggest issue this thing has, at the end of the day, is the fact that you have to hold it down for it to actually do full effect, so let's try it again. And it's nice that you have a shield, so you can just hold it down without any worries, right? Okay, let's do it again. We'll break this time. And then we'll try it with the breakdown, okay? So, here, we'll do this. Yeah, I like that it has a shield. Oh, that's a lot of damage, guys. That's a lot of damage. 93 hit combo. Bro, what is this? Killer Instinct? So there you guys go. That's a wicked, wicked move. I think that on POD is going to be the new go-to fire skill, because it does so much damage, bro. That's great. Plus the fact that you have a shield on there, no knockbacks, mostly pretty much having super armor on you, so that's going to cause no issues while you do it. So that one there, I'd say, is probably going to be so far the second best skill. In the Dispersion first for sure, then that one second. Let's check out this one now. So Frostbite actually has a debuff that it does 300% more attack every 3 seconds whenever you cause it. So let's see how this one works. Also an Almighty Break, so that's kind of nice too. But let's see if the skill is actually any better than Dispersion or better than Dagger Toss. Okay, so let's go break in. Okay, so you just let it sit there and it just does damage over time. That's kind of cool. It's a little unique. So you have to be close. See how I have to be close to the opponent for it to go off? See it again. There it is. There's a break. Yeah, so it's a dot. It's a dot. This is unique. I'm curious to see where that would be. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as the last two that we did, but it's unique. It does have a pretty cool design to it, and I'm curious where this would really work. Maybe POD again, maybe Guild Boss. You can probably see this a little bit, doing a little bit more damage, but again, because this is not a water elemental opponent, we're probably seeing a lot less damage come through. But I could see this being a pretty useful one for longer fights, especially because you could cast it fairly often. Let me see what the cast time is. 15 seconds. It's not bad. I mean, it kind of stays with you the whole time too. You guys can see Frostbite right on the opponent, right? You guys can see every time I'm close by, you can see the debuff actually connect. So there you guys have it. Definitely, if we're going to talk about the two best skills, Dispersion and Dagger Toss. Crazy good. So those are the two I would probably be going for if you had a choice, especially for WOBL at the moment. Disperse is probably going to be the best one. So out of all of these guys, this skill right over here is gangbusters. This and Magnifying Slashes together, game over. Game over. All right, guys. Payne, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.